Hello and welcome everyone to the 2014 North American Collegiate Championship. I am Rivington Bisson III along with Joshua Jat Leesman. How you doing tonight, Jat? It's been a long day.
Oh, it's been a long day, but we got some really cool college games. These guys play aggressive. I mean, the first game yesterday had fights at level 1.
Level 1 fights, that's what I like to see. And now because information is key to broadening the young minds, let's take a look at the NACC bracket. More than 500 teams from colleges across the continent started the journey towards tonight's finals, and after hundreds of games, there are only 2 left standing.
Yeah, tonight it's the battle for the first ever unified North American Collegiate Championship with a share of $100,000 in scholarship and the title of the best collegiate team in North America on the line.
And not only will the winning team get a title and a chunk of scholarship cash, they will also win one of these beautiful medallions. It's going to be going on and around their necks once they get that victory, the 2014 North American Collegiate Championship. First place medal. I like the NACC logo as well.
It's
gorgeous. Check that out.
It's hefty, too.
It's got a good weight to it.
You can definitely tell it's a legitimate medal right there. So, Collegiate Championship 2014, I like it.
And usually when you get a medal, too, it's always nice. You get to wear it for a few times. I'm sure these guys stream. There's a lot of top-tier players on these teams. It would be nice to wear one of those while you're streaming. Yep. Yeah. You're like, remember this? That's right. It's not exactly an all-star jacket, but they're getting to those. All right, everybody. As Sergio's Dream and the Blue Caster Minions plug in their peripherals and get set for the title fight, let's send it down to Zyrene, who's hanging out on the stage with one of the guys who helped make this weekend happen.
All right, thanks, Riv. I'm joined here in the middle of the LCS studio stage with Michael Sherman. And now, Michael, you are the Vice President of Ivy Law, but you also helped all of this happen, the North American Collegiate Championship. You held and hosted the North American Collegiate Open, which involved over 500 teams and 2,500 plus players. Now, tell me a little bit about that and the challenges surrounding that.
It was an amazing experience. We spent a lot of time trying to figure out if we were even able to do this. We had about 3 weeks to put the whole thing together. So we met with our staff and we talked with Well Played to make sure that we could do a website. And we're like, yeah, we can really do this. And it turned out awesome. So we spent, the biggest thing was really support though. We made sure that we had constant communication with all of our players. We had a live chat channels, and everybody was always on duty. It was great.
A little bit of Timo in there. So I want to ask you, if somebody wants to get involved, they come up to you and say, I'm a college student, I play League of Legends. How do I get involved? What would you say to them?
It's all about finding out who's at your school. I know when I was a freshman, we just started playing together. And we just started going to computer labs and playing. And before you knew it, we filled an entire computer lab of people just playing League of Legends. And then I started recruiting people there's a subreddit for my school. So I checked there, and it's like, we need a platinum support. Get out there. I mean, the people who are on stage here today aren't going to be the college players who just sat around and waited. They went out and they found each other, and that's what made them strong.
Yeah, and I'm aware that there isn't just the Ivy Law, there's the CSL, and we're actually having an all-CSL finals. So all of your hard work wasn't for nothing because you guys work very closely together, right? Now tell me a little bit about that and also how you feel about the Collegiate Star League only finals.
So there's no hard feelings. I'm really proud of UC Irvine and UBC. CSL has actually been amazing in this whole experience, and I'm just glad that UBC and UC Irvine gave it their all.
Yeah, and since they're not here, I'm going to have to ask you, who are you predicting to win the finals here between Sergio's Dream and Blue Caster Minion?
I'm going to give it to Sergio's Dream. I spent a lot of time watching them play during the Ivy Law season. They were really strong then, and I had high aspirations for them, and I'm glad to see them on stage today.
All right, thank you very much. That's Michael Sherman, the Vice President of Ivy Law. And now we're going to toss it back up to the desk with Jat and Riv to kick off the North American Collegiate Championship.
Thank you very much, Zyrene. And with the stakes that high, I know everybody, you want us to get into the game. So let's do it. The first ever North American Collegiate Championship match between Sergio's Dream from San Jose State University and the Blue Caster Minions from the University of Washington, rather.
Yeah.
And even though the Blue Caster Minions will be spawning in the red corner for Game 1, they're arguably still the favorites heading into this best-of-3 title fight.
Yeah, you know, Blue Caster Minions had a very tough semifinal series against another tournament favorite, the Queen Gypsies from UC Irvine. BCM got kind of steamrolled at level 1 in their first game. We were wondering if the collegiate teams would bring more aggression than some of the pro teams, and they absolutely did at the start of yesterday. They got double killed before the jungle even spawned But then, you know, the Bluecaster Minions, the team, not the actual Bluecaster Minions, turned it around. They took 2 games in a row and walked away with that series.
Not something anybody thought was going to happen. And carrying BCM to their victory was their trinity of super minions, mid laner Everton, jungler Kevin, and ADC Alliance.
Yeah, Alliance was up against a really good AD carry. Challenger Flappy Bearfish. He changed his name to DK Bearfish for this, but they walked away from that lane despite facing off against that really all-star they had to play against. And a lot of that was thanks to Bluecaster Minions jungler Kevin. He shook off a tough one, and he spun up 2 good performances as Elise later. And last but definitely not least, it's their mid laner Everton. You know, he dominated the mid game in their last 2 games of the semifinals. Lulu in game 2, he really bullied his way to the win. Everyone's been playing Lulu lately. But then when it was banned in game 3, the more impressive part to me was his absolute destruction of the enemy LeBlanc when he was playing Zed.
Yeah, and while Everton was golden in BCM's games against the Gypsies, his task only gets harder as he goes lane to lane versus challenger veteran Arc, Z-Slash, and Sergio's Dream.
Yeah, Sergio's Dream looked unstoppable in their semifinal series against U-Beast. Arc, Z-Slash played on the challenger team, actually Salad Bar, in the 2013 Spring Promotion Tournament. So he's actually used to a bit of a high-pressure stage show, and he put on a show last night, walking away with an enormous KDA.
Now, while Arc Z-Slash displayed the skills that got him into the promotion tournament, it was the play of 2 of his teammates that set the pace for the series sweep.
Yeah, game 1 was all about Feng Shen's thresh hooks. He set up kills for his team, hook after hook. But then in game 2, it was Lock Tran, his jungle Lee Sin. You know, he invaded, he stole the first red buff, he got first blood. He just destroyed U-Beast jungler. He denied pretty much every single red buff and even stole most of the big rates. And if he didn't die 5 times in game 1, as Nocturne, his stats would pretty much match his impact in that series.
These guys are loving it right now. They're just 2 wins away from the NACC title. Locktran and Sergio's Dream are ready to kick it into high gear. But the Bluecaster Minions are just as determined to earn the first ever unified championship.
Making it to the finals is confirming our beliefs because we thought we're one of the strongest teams here.
I realized like a lot of people are back at home. They're actually all watching and stuff. I kind of want to like bring back the first place prize and actually like show that, you know, UW has some really good players and stuff.
From what I know about San Jose is that they don't practice like us. That's kind of scary.
The key strength that we have right now is mostly individual skill.
Yes, they are good players individually, but not as a team.
All of our players are really, really like naturally, mechanically talented. We can do our own role, we can do our own job, we can pull our own weight, usually.
We're pretty coordinated, so I think we got a pretty solid chance.
We expected to go 2-0, 2-0.
ICANNEU thought that they had a 94% win rate against us. He tried out for my team, my challenger team, Soul Control. He thought he was too good for us. We ran to his team in rank 5s and we beat him, so hopefully it's a repeat.
I think from here on out, it's just going to be like the UW train is on a go. We're going to go through it and beat it all.
We came here to win. We came here to take first place.
I am really excited to see these matchups. Yeah. Both teams think they have the upper hand, and both teams have a little bit of dirt to say about each other.
Yeah, you know, the first ever unified collegiate championship as well. All that talk is finally just going to be decided.
Yep.
Right?
Got to walk the walk now.
Yeah.
Now, after last night's semifinals, there was a coin flip to decide who got to pick where they spawned. Sergio's Dream won and has chosen to go blue for games 1 and 3. So that's 1 and 3 on blue side for Sergio's Dream. Now let's take a look at the lineups for tonight's NACC Finals. Taking to the Rift for SGD is Jakiro in the top lane, Loktran in jungle, ArcZ Slash in the mid, the best in SJ, who will be calling SJ at AD carry, and Feng Shen on support.
Yeah, and for the second day in a row, the Bluecaster Minions are on the road, therefore spawning in the red corner. Top, ICANNEU. He likes to be called ICANNEU. We're probably going to call him Kenny. Kevin in the jungle, Everton in mid lane, Alliance on AD carry, and Harmer on support.
And one of the things that I also got from that video, which really super excites me, is, you know, we have the biggest games of NFL and basketball, and those are all great. You know, you see the professionals playing, but it's the college what everybody gets psyched up for in those tournaments. There's so much more heart and just blood, sweat, and tears left on it that you get those amazing plays that come from these collegiate players, and I'm so excited for that in this realm.
Yeah, and even though we're not trying to give home court advantage, you know, San Jose's a little closer to the studio than New Washington right now, so they have a few more fans trying to give them the support. Obviously, it's not too big. TSM seems to play a lot of home games here as well. It helps them sometimes.
Absolutely. Let's see what they have for each other. We're going to be into picks and bans in just a few, and it's going to be the Bluecaster Minions versus Sergio Dreams here for the North American Collegiate Championship, and they're going to show each other what they have for picks and bans to start it off. Lulu is going to be out of the mix right off the bat.
Yeah, that generally means RXC Slash doesn't play it because that's what would be respected as a first pick nowadays. Teemo ban on the side of Jakiro. He got to play Teemo in the second game of yesterday. It was good. He had a very good Teemo game. He is a Teemo main, actually.
A good way to just explain that is he makes people look silly when he plays it. He doesn't really go really hard. He makes you think you can get something out of it, and then you're just dead 2 seconds later.
There was a really nice play yesterday where he put a Teemo shroom behind his turret.
Yeah. Yep.
And then got a double kill as they turret dived him.
He knows what he's doing. It's the mind games. I love players that set that up for themselves and then can really put it into play. Lee Sin going out. Pantheon as well. The jungle gets a bit of a hit there on the second ban for each team.
Honestly, these are pretty targeted, the games we saw yesterday. Locktran's Lee Sin was really effective. His Nocturne not necessarily as impactful. I like the fact that we got the Lee Sin ban from Blue Caster.
Yep. It looks like they're going to get the Blue Kazakhs out on the side of Sergio's Dream. And they will not be going in the hands of Kevin or even Evertan in mid lane. We've seen Kazakhs wreak some havoc in the NALCS.
Oh, good lord, yes he has. And specifically, the closer you get to high elo solo queue, the more potent Kazakhs becomes. And especially this being the Collegiate Championship. That guy's still here, by the way. The Kassadin is still in the world.
What?
So the closer you get...
I thought that was the default ban.
Yeah, the closer you get to high elo solo queue, you know, the higher threat Kassadin becomes. And apparently they forgot about Kassadin because I haven't seen him in a game in a while.
What kind of stinks here, too, is we were just talking about this today of Lulu versus Kassadin. Like, wow, Lulu could probably shut him down. Polymorph him when he comes in, but Lulu's banned now. So we don't even get to see that. We'll see if the reason everybody's been banning him in the LCS is worth.
Well, listen, Kassadin, I'd say his bark is a lot worse than his bite at this point.
Okay.
Even though he's banned all the time, a lot of that, I think, is out of fear. He's been in ban prison for so long that people have kind of forgotten what he does in the general scheme of the game, how to play with him, maybe even how to play against him a little bit.
Right.
There are absolute counters to him. If you bring a little bit of hard CC, if you bring a good silencer, if you bring, obviously Polymorph is gone because of Lulu, but any of those things, you diminish his effectiveness greatly. The fact that they've already brought in Thresh, who can hook him, and Wukong, who can knock him up briefly, there is a pretty dangerous battlefield for Kassadin to be jumping into already.
Well, RXC Slash is one to kind of lead the team and get them to that victory. So we'll see if his Kassadin play can get that around 6, 7, 8, 9, mainly after the ult. He's going to be roaming around trying to kill Alliance as much as possible. Still waiting on some bans here from picks rather from Sergio's Dream after that Kassadin. They're saying we can formulate anything around Cass right now. What do you guys want?
Yeah. I think the best thing to formulate around Kassadin sometimes is Thresh because it allows him to be more aggressive and then click the Thresh Lantern. But Thresh is on his way. Pretty standard right there by Sergio's Dream. Nocturne is just Locktran's secondary jungler. There will be a lot of death potential to whatever Evertan picks in the mid lane.
Very dark team.
Nocturne Kassadin generally gets kills if they want to. The question will be...
if they want to.
Yeah, the question will be what they do after they commit for the kill. You can commit for almost any kill in the game and get it with those two.
Looks like SJ is going to get Vayne for this game. Quite a scary pick, seeing that they don't have a Thresh, and he's also going to be up against a Wukong, but he feels confident in the pick. The Blue Caster minions now to show their picks for number 4 and 5 on their team, or 3 and 4, I should say.
Yeah, I wonder what Evertan has left. I think Zed would still be a pretty good pick here. He can get a lot of damage down onto Kassadin when he comes in. He's also fairly elusive if he comes in and gets ganked by Nocturne. He had a very successful game with it, game 3 of their best of 3 yesterday, and they're actually going to wait until the very last pick to pick their mid laner.
Want to see that counter. Want to make sure they can counter everything and not just the Kassadin at this point. The Lucian Mundo locked in, we saw for the Blue Caster minions, and the Hover. Seen a little bit of Vagar in the LCS, but I don't think he's going to be the pick for Sergio's Dream coming in just yet.
Yeah, they still need to pick their support. They are up against the Thresh. Annie is available. That would be a fairly logical support pick in this situation, getting some on-demand stun to get chained in by the rest of the team. But what's Feng Shen got for us? His Thresh was amazing, but he can't get that again. Could play Blitzcrank, try to blow our minds, but pulling in a Wukong or a Mundo would be death. That would be a bad idea.
Not too many good options for the hook there. Leona still up. And get a pretty strong lane between Leona and Vane going.
Leona. The standard.
Yeah.
Right there. Yes, it is the North American Collegiate Championships, but it doesn't mean we got to get all crazy. We get Nocturne, which is something we don't see in the LCS. We got a Cassidy, which is something we don't see in the LCS, technically as well.
At least not in that form on the pick side.
I'd like to see a Zed here, but Evertan got a fair amount of versatility, as he's proven, being able to play Lulu and Zed to effectiveness yesterday.
Be quite heavy AD if they do go with the Zed, but it's a composition that could definitely take out a Vane quickly.
The nice thing is Wukong synergizes fairly well with all AD compositions because not only does his Q have armor shred, he synergizes very well with the Black Cleaver. Yeah. He can get out almost all of his armor shred very quickly with his Wukong ultimate, so it wouldn't be the end of the world.
Right.
If they picked almost all AD.
Yeah, man, people are picking Lulu mid. She doesn't have a huge damaging ultimate. And man, I don't know, you got the crystal ball cleaned off early on that one.
I watched the game yesterday. Evertan told me he was going to play Zed. He was so good at it. Of course he's going to play it again. Yeah.
And leave it up, why not? If it's not broken, don't fix it, as the saying goes, and it looks like Evertan will be able to take that against Artsy Slash. And that's going to give him a little bit of trouble in the mid lane. They both have a decent amount of Q poke to give each other.
Yeah, a lot of in potential, not too much out on these two teams. The Loctran plus Arxie Slash synergy on Sergio's Dream is going to be trying to kill Evertan very frequently. The Thresh Express is going to have to be running really well to try and save people from getting dove by Nocturne and Kassadin in this one.
I like the Nocturne Kassadin. It could be like, you know, a Vi and Kassadin coming in, but with the silence from Kassadin, Nocturne just acts as a longer range Vi, and he can get the terror down because of the silence.
Anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to work out pretty good.
And the slow synergize very well. Like it's a brutal combo.
It is.
To try and play against. I've played that combo against an Ahri before and couldn't get away, despite having 3 dashes. He just chased them down.
Yeah. Oh, pretty amazing. We'll see what they can do to get the kills down. Like we said, we saw a lot of crazy one crazy level 1 yesterday with a lot of deaths. We'll see if that happens as these teams get into each other's minds toward the beginning of the game. They both look pretty calm out in the hallway, just as they were taking their seats, getting their peripherals ready. Both teams look like they know what they're doing and they're ready to play.
Well, the benefit these guys have today is the fact that they played on this very stage yesterday in equally as high pressure of a game, because it's still lose and you're out.
Yeah.
In a sense. And I would actually say that the Blue Caster minions looked really shaky in the first game, but then I think they settled in for games 2 and 3 and looked really potent. So even though that game went 3, it felt like a 2-0 once they were comfortable. And they should be comfortable, theoretically, today, because they were in the exact same situation yesterday.
And that was a scary game for them to overcome the mentality of such a harsh first game. I mean, I have to say to myself, I counted them out in that game. So for them to come back on that means they can do a lot and maybe even some more. It's going to have to be quite a bit versus Blue Caster minions here. Sergio Dream, we're going live for the North American Collegiate Championship.
They tried the SGD chant. Didn't get enough momentum, unfortunately, for him, but
it's the thought that counts.
Yeah, sometimes.
The team can still get a little bit of that if they yell loud enough.
All right, but here we go. This is the invade. Blue Caster minions had a fight in here in their lost game. This is almost the exact same thing that happened to them when they lost.
Man. A huge game of cat and mouse. Usually this is only 1 or 2 people that have been sent into the jungle, but they are sitting yards, if you will, many thousands of pixels apart now.
Okay, at least they're moving out a little bit now.
Oh, but they're moving out back to the caboose.
The thing is, if they ran in to 5 Blue Caster minions right now, they're trapped in their own base, but they spotted him. They're going to let him go because Blue Caster minions is a little bit stronger in a level 1 fight because the AoE that Lucian would be able to throw out.
Oh, gentleman's agreement there. Oh, maybe not.
Oh, man.
That was pretty interesting.
That's tense. Thresh actually skilled up his hook, despite not throwing it. So that means level 1 in the lane, he's a little bit less powerful. Thresh loves to get auto attack harass out with his E and his Flay early on in the game. So
a little bit of AD.
You could say, in the smallest of senses, Blue Caster minions lost that one.
Yeah. Something we got to point out here, we haven't seen Kassadin in a long time, which means we really haven't seen anybody run teleport in the mid lane. Arxie Slash has taken that, so Evertan may have a hard time catching up to him if he tries to get out in an engagement.
Yeah, we'll see if Evertan can bully RC Slash early on in the game. However, Kassadin has pretty respectable melee damage that people worry about. Ranged ADs are really good against Kassadin, but Zed may not necessarily be that great. All Kassadin has to do is activate that W, and he hits for a wallop.
Dodging the Qs out very nicely. There's 2 right there, but Evertan really not worrying about that resource of energy. It's just going to charge up. Feng Shen trying to put a little zone defense down with his shield, trying to break the daylight, but nothing so far. Or break the dawn.
I wish Kevin would spell his name with an I instead of 2 N's. I want to be like Kevin instead of Kevin.
Maybe it's Kev N.
Kevin? That works, actually. Kevin
Yeah.
N. Kevin. Anyway, the jungle Wukong is pretty slow early. Nocturne as well can clear a little bit faster, but even so, both these junglers need until about level 6 to have true effectiveness. They're both pretty competent counter gankers pre-6, but if you're both counter gankers, there's not much ganking that actually happens.
SJ in the bottom lane, leveling up that Silver Bolt second. Not worried about getting the condemn for any aggression from Harmer as they are under the turret, and we can see that Kevin sitting right up in the brush, just waiting to get that double buff activated onto RC Slash, but he is under the turret and farming away, so safe for now.
They're expecting.
Wow.
So what's happened actually is Evertan's been using his W a lot to harass, and they're hoping to catch him with it down, but he went in real early. And since they have no vision here, they don't want to chase into that brush because there could be a Wukong. That's why they warded early. No Wukong, but here he is.
This is going to be big damage here coming onto Evertan still. I don't know if Kevin can really rebuttal this. He's going down first. A double buff over to RC Slash, and he says, I'm out of here. Keep going, Loctran. We do have Kenny coming down from the top lane, though. Jaikiro is just behind him. That's a flash out. These two now, level 3, going to go toe-to-toe for a sec.
There was the danger of the double buff. Fight bottom as well.
Level 3s to level 2 on Harrimer there, but the damage. Alliance is level 3 as well, forcing the barrier out. Low on mana, so they got to be careful.
Well, these teams are not afraid of fighting so far in the game. First blood going to Kassadin is not the best thing. There's the Leona still going in.
Oh, can't get another Silverbolt activated. Feng Shen coming in. He is going to have a shield coming up for himself. Harrimer will be safe.
3 seconds on a Zenith Blade.
Yeah. Has to back it off. RC Slash coming out of base as we see Loctran with the other 2 buffs in the game going down back to Evertan.
Yeah, to get back a little bit to what happened in the mid lane.
Yeah, jeez.
These guys don't mess around, for one. But RC Slash, even with the teleport, being able to get that first blood is really, really important. Kevin was in position for counter ganks, and I think there was a bit of a miscommunication there because Evertan feinted towards there, wanting to get the turnaround kill, knowing that they would have had an Ignite advantage in a fight, but it was too late. By the time Wukong got in there, Evertan was basically dead. Leona's fearless.
Oh, right back to Harrimer once again. Another shot. The Silverbolt. Proc hits it. They could actually get this kill. One more? No, he backs off.
Yeah, Lion still had flash and barrier. It was really Harrimer who died without using his exhaust. Interesting right there. Was pretty much dead to rights, but Loctran trying to come in again.
Very, very low on energy here. Evertan again, just depleting himself. Yeah. Pushed out of the lane, so he's going to get constant harass from Loctran.
I think they're really just trying to give him farming space right now. Evertan, hey, buddy. Fans are pretty hyped up for that gank.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had his W.
It's nicely played. I feel like SGD has such an upper hand at just being in the mind of their opponents. Blue Caster Minions has now almost walked into 2 just plain ganks. Just happened.
Ooh, Kevin.
That's what he needs. He needs to start putting something in their favor. We've seen Loctran doing stuff. Now Kevin's trying to put an upper hand on this, but we do have RC Slash coming down. Evertan's got damage on him. This could be a huge trade coming in. Loctran getting away. 50 HP. One more Q from Kevin. Could it be worth? He goes invisible, but no. True sight on the turret.
Oh no, and he ends up giving the kill to Vayne because he got 1 auto attack on his walk over. Aggression gone wrong right there. Falling too deep. I think pushing him back in the first place was a good idea.
Yeah.
But continuing the chase was the fatal flaw of the plan.
It was always just so close. The next one, the next one.
I think you can get him. You know,
and then you're
fast.
so deep into the tunnel and someone turns the lights off.
Yeah.
7 minutes on the clock. 3 kills now for Sergio's Dream here. And looks like they're going for the long haul on this one. RC Slash is stacking up the TR already for himself, but it's going to be turning into power soon.
That's the trick. A lot of times Wukong feels like he's faster than people. He's 370 base move speed, but Nocturne's pretty quick as well. They had exactly the same move speed when they were chasing each other down. So unless he took a wrong corner or angle somewhere, Wukong wasn't catching him.
Quickest way away from or to your opponent is a straight line. Make sure you run it. 10,000 gold to 8.5 on the side of BCM. They're not out of this one, but Sergio's dream is not one to give up a lead. And we haven't even seen ArcC/ get out of that lane. He used the teleport to get back, so it's going to be a Rift walk out if they really try to engage something else.
Yeah. So Kassadin survives that phase. Double cloth arm as well, building up to a Seeker's Arm Guard very quickly. At the moment, though, Evertan still in control of that Kassadin.
Yeah.
If ArcC/ ever tries to leave, Zed will shove up the lane almost immediately. Jakiro might try to kill right here.
Great damage onto Kenny. Gets the flash out of him. Kenny still has his Ignite up. We see the Paranoia. Nightmare coming down onto Evertan, but nothing there.
They had to sync that gank better. ArcC/ needed to lead with the silence. Otherwise, he's just going to dodge right out of Nocturne. Only needed to get him to jump away before the Nocturne came in. Neither of those things happened, so it was an easy escape for Evertan. And it is a really long cooldown on Nocturne's ultimate. It is a 180-second, 3-minute cooldown on Nocturne ult. Gone for just the W of Evertan.
The scary thing is it always catches you off guard when it comes up, so you got to keep knowledge of that window. We'll see if BCM tries to do anything with this. Bottom lane still one after the other. The Zenith Blades consistently hitting on Harimer, and they're just leaving Alliance to fire back at them because they know the secondary trade is going to be in their favor too.
Yeah, Bastion SJ being over-aggressive in that lane against Lucian is a really, really bad sign for Bluecaster minions. Vayne shouldn't be able to do this to Lucian.
No way! Could they get the stun up against the turret? He gets the exhaust. Very nicely done, but it could be too late. A
Double
second,
kill.
a third Silver Bone. Wait a minute, the barrier! He does get the shutdown back on to SJ.
Yeah, that's a 4-kill Vayne, though. Sure, he died.
Yeah.
I'm still going to call Worth on that one as they're coming around the backside because, good lord. Like I said, Vayne shouldn't be able to do that to Lucian. People pick Lucian for his early game laning potential. Feng Shen and Bastion SJ are really proving their worth.
Oh, getting themselves into a scary spot just for the pink ward. There goes the Cyclone out. SGD could be in a bad spot here, but Evertan doesn't even want any of this fight because the rotation of Feng Shen was just too good. He was already there.
And fresh double buff transfer onto Loctran as well. Huge swing. Now, Nocturne can power farm with blue buff. Even without his ultimate, his ganks are now more effective because he stole the red from Kevin as well. Just a bit of a disaster, but really that was off of the bottom lane, roaming up to help them.
Yeah.
Feng Shen, like he was in the semifinals yesterday, is seemingly everywhere for this team. Boots of mobility already going to add to that mobility.
Oh, that's the death mark.
Back.
That's the death. You're not going to be able to stop that one.
Boom. Huge turn. Evertan, just like he did in Game 3, trying to put his team on his back with his Zed play.
So much for that power farming. Loctran gives up the double buffs.
That's greed, honestly. No reason to hold that lane so aggressively.
Well, Evertan saw the greed as well, and he took it for himself. That's going to give him a kill. That's going to be a nice kill on top of a 20-some CS lead. He hasn't been really roaming around getting the kills that ArcC/ has, but he did for staying in his lane. So it's almost falling into his lap right now. It's great for him.
ArcC/ is feeling pretty happy about that Kassadin falling into his lap as well. Only 56 CS, but, you know, 1-0-1 means good things, especially when he has a lot of lockdown and initiation backup from the rest of his team. But Evertan closed the distance on him.
How about the rushdown gameplay, says Evertan. He goes right onto ArcC/. Oh, gets out of that one. He doesn't want to be given the blue buff back. It's not a hot potato blue buff.
No, definitely not. A lot of lifesteal on Evertan as well. Going with Bilgewater Cutlass and double Thorns Blade, so every hit he's lifestealing a lot back up. He needs that since ArcC/ can put a lot of harass down on him.
Where's Feng Shen again? The wards behind them allowed us to know what was happening. They do have Kevin, but at what cost here? They may actually both go down. He's forced to use the clone. Wow, wait a minute. SJ could be going under the turret here. He is absolutely going to get this kill. There it is as he dives into the bull.
These guys are playing hot potato with double buffs so far. It's
went
from Wukong to Nocturne to Zed, and now back to Kassadin. How long will those double buffs last? It's a death sentence to get them on you at this point, it seems like.
Smear the queer on the double buff. That's the way it works. The old childhood games. 8-2 now we got going on for SGD. Whoa! Nice little grab there. Can they activate on it, though? They're going to have to put themselves in a pretty sticky situation. The calling gets stopped out for the extra attacks.
Here comes
Good job by
Mundo.
Allowance. He knows he needs to move.
Oh, no, Kassadin!
Playing this mechanically well. Yeah, that's the mid lane teleport, but I don't think he wanted that.
Where's the
blue buff transfer. Oh my God, the hook was just on the edge of his skirt.
Just about continue the tradition. Here comes Kevin.
Oh, Jakiro might have not wanted that, but Luxran coming up from the bottom side. He has just enough mana for the Terror and the Duskbringer, and they do bring the death onto BCM. Looking for Evertran. He's out of that one.
Yeah, Renekton in a 2v2 was just not fair at that point. They tried to counter gank, but Jakiro was too big, and now they might be going bottom because they are not stopping that push. Alliance and Harmer got to get out of there.
Oh, he is trying to get the damage on the turret.
I
don't think he's going to do it, though. He's got 8 seconds to recall, and they're going to say, let's go for Dragon. We know they're trying to beeline it back to the base. We're fine to do it.
Speaking of.
Rutro. He's got some HP. I don't know if RXC Slash.
How much can he regen?
Oh, he's got the double buff, yeah.
He's got a lot of mana.
You're good to go.
Oh, good flash.
That's the Void Pulse.
Good flash.
Wow, he does get away.
Doesn't help much,
Gotta be
though.
persistent.
Cost him his flash. Didn't cost RXC Slash anything.
Or Rift Walk.
Yeah, let's take a replay of that nice catch because Best in SJ was just trying to go a dangerous route. They weren't respecting their opponents right there. Like, even though they had a pretty big level advantage, 1 full level on each member, they thought they were going to be completely safe. Just the burst damage from Lucian came out, and really RXC Slash just about got himself into a heap of trouble. Just another split second if that hook landed. It looks like it went pretty much through him there.
Yeah, there was a cast animation was already there. But
yeah.
Wow. 2 players doing everything at the top level right there at that second. Armor not looking good. He's been the focus. Sun coming down on your face is pretty painful, and it looks like he goes back for the hook.
Oh, he's dead.
Over the shoulder, pie to the face. It looks like they can turn this around. How both of them are just getting away with slivers of health as they limp away from the fight. Feng Shen keeps himself in. Oh no, could he get the kill before he goes down? It won't happen. Everything just hanging by a thread in all of these attacks.
Even with all this, San Jose and Sergio's Dream are up a lot. By this,
as we take a second,
the majority of the kills. Vayne is the one with 5 kills, Cassian with 2. Those are the right people to have your kills on. Kenny might get dove here. No ignite, but they're going to be powering through.
Well,
or not.
Looks like
bad
they
idea.
Changed their mind real quick on that.
Other way, other way. RXC Slash, got to be careful for Evertan. He got his ult and ignite up, but Evertan doesn't want to ult in while Cassidon's Riftwalk is still up because he wouldn't be able to follow up with any of the damage.
Oh, they get exactly what they wanted, just in a different spot. Kenny waltzing into the jungle to make sure Red is safe. Oh, he gets him as soon as the Paranoia, the Terror goes down to try and fear him up. Still going down deep. Lockran going to go down to Harrimer. There's the death mark. Evertan getting out. That's not going to be enough damage to kill him. He gets back. Juked once more, and he gets the Q to come out. Playing with shadows all day.
Wow, that was nearly impressive. The fight continues, though, down bottom.
The Cyclone flashed out of the hook from Harrimer. He hits that one. He's not going to let anybody get away, and Alliance is picking up great cleanup kills around the map for BCM.
Yeah, that overdive right there cost them 3 kills. It gave the double buffs off of Locktran. Different set of double buffs this time, obviously, but just look at this little bit of over-aggression. Basically, Locktran had the right idea. Oh, I'll follow the Lantern with my ultimate. It'll be great. But he was already pretty low health, and he was way beyond enemy lines at this point. So Harmer's able to solo him out, and then check out the mechanics here. Evertan ulting RXC Slash, and then he's waiting for the Riftwalk to pop back to his clone. The Riftwalk didn't happen, but then he popped back to his W and still dodged the Riftwalk. So RXC Slash had too many spells up, managed to finish him. It was a noble effort, though.
Oh my gosh, so many plays to be had, so many blinks to be used coming out of RXC Slash and Evertan, and I think we just saw the extent of it, but we have a lot more to go. We're only 15-50 into the game, 11-8 as BCM starts to pull some kills back in their favor. They still sit down about 2,000 gold, so they have some work to do.
Feels like we've been in game for a bit longer.
It does.
16 minutes.
These guys have been going at it.
There are 19 kills at the moment. Blade of the Ruin King being done on Best in SJ is a good progression for him item-wise. However, keeps getting too close to Alliance. He's really a little bit over-arrogant. They had a huge lead on that bottom lane. But Alliance is caught up now. Gold-wise, they're pretty much even. Item differential, they're going to be dueling each other pretty well. They continue to go in all aggressive. They're going to get counter-ganked by Kevin's Wukong. That's actually what Blue Caster minions are banking on here in that bottom lane. We could have 2 fights at once here. Mid lane gank and bottom lane fight. Nocturne wants to go on Zed. We talked about the Cassidon. He gets a kill whenever he wants. Yep. Zed's getting out of there.
Well, it looks like they're also putting Jakiro down into the mid lane. I don't think Evertan's really going to have a chance to get away from this one.
This map is chaos right now. Just looking at where everybody is. Loctran.
Oh, dear.
Good ward. That was a good ward. Why isn't... Is that the other sweeper? No, that's their sweeper. Don't know why they didn't kill ward.
3 in the bot lane. They know now. They get a ward onto Loctran. 1 minute, 30 seconds on the Dragon. So this is actually quite an early move for anything on that.
Dragon fight could be really huge right here.
Right.
It's interesting, actually, that Kenny's Mundo doesn't have teleport. Every Mundo seems to bring teleport. He wanted a bit more dueling power against Chihiro. But now he has to go up and stop him from pushing his lane out. The Dragon fight in about 1:15 could be very pivotal in the overall outcome of this game.
Timing that with the smite to come back up for Dragon. He is going to be safe. We do see the Archangel staff being built up on Z-Slash. He tries to get that Seraph's Embrace finished. Like you said, the Seeker's arm guard going into the Zanyas. Finish that up. Actually, Evertan hasn't been doing that much damage to him, so he might actually go for some big damage before even finishing that.
Amongst all the chaos, Kevin is really struggling on Wukong.
Yeah.
0-4-2, and he's built just a damage item. Most Wukongs love to be able to go Spirit of the Other Lizard to Brutalizer and then start tanking up, but since he's fallen behind, he hasn't been able to get that Brutalizer, meaning his ultimates in teamfights could very well be pretty lackluster. And his team's going to need a little bit more than that. He is the one who actually needs to get more kills than anyone, or just a little bit of farm, so he can have an impact in teamfights.
Yeah, if he gets the Black Cleaver, goes in and kind of still dies, is that sufficient enough, or is he going to have to get farther?
It would be sufficient, but at this point, he's never even going to get to Black Cleaver.
Right, right.
Yeah, he needs to finish off his... He looks like he's probably going for Randwinds, and then a Black Cleaver, but at this point, with his rate of farm, 69 farm at 18 minutes, only 2 assists, we'd be 35 minutes in the game before he gets that.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. We'll see how he kind of takes that under his belt. It's going to be a tough fight for him going through here. See Chihiro still putting up pressure in that top lane. Kenny's going to be forced to stay. Dragon is alive, so we're going to see a 4v4 battle between these teams.
I'd like to see Sergio's Dream roam Chihiro down right now, because Kenny is pretty low on health. Chihiro has the window, and they could force a Dragon that Blue Caster Minions would either have to lose the game on or give a bigger advantage. They might force 4v4 regardless, and it's actually Kenny who's going down.
Alliance in a very scary position by himself in that bottom brush, and it looks like SJ is the one getting the ping on him. He gets into a safe spot. Now they're going to kind of size each other up here as they got each other spaced out.
Clearing out the pink ward as well. Blue Caster Minions would have an opportunity here to try and 5v4 at the expense of a turret, and I think they should take it. If the next time Mundo faints down or Renekton pushes, I think they should just go straight for Dragon. Because even if they get the turret, they would force a 5v4 fight. At this point, Sergio's Dream's not letting that happen again, forcing a 4v4 with the Dragon.
All right, here comes the communication. You
Wukong's
can see Kevin trying to give comms to the team. He will not be able to get in, and they quickly dive past, but they put quite a bit right onto the clone. Kevin's trying to put the Cyclone damage out. Here comes Evertan in the middle of the fight. He's the focus. That's going to be a dead Vayne. SJ is no longer in the fight, but they turn onto Evertan and take him down. They are still going to be chasing here all the way to the backside, but it's a Kassadin double kill from Z-Slash. They're now focused onto him, and Kenny has made the long haul from coast to coast with Chihiro just behind him. I don't think he wants any more of this. A great fight by BCM.
Yeah, it was great for them that they got 4 kills. However, they gave up 3 deaths, and all of them went to Z-Slash on Kassadin. Needlessly large rod picked up right away, and they got the Dragon. So overall, despite the fight going 4-3, I'd still say that's better for Blue Caster Minions. Just watch Z-Slash's movement in this fight. He basically avoids the Wukong ultimate, which is incredibly important, and then is not afraid to go very aggressive with his Rift Walks. That's the biggest thing here. Because of all the fear that was in Blue Caster Minions, they stayed back. He hides in. Check this one out. Just right on top of Kevin as he's going for Loctran. Harrimer actually does a lot of work on Thresh here, keeping people going. Oh, that last kill was so close.
And there's the rundown. The
At least he beat Renekton.
Stragglers trying to come down to the fight. But hey guys, like you said, he did beat him.
We're top laners. Pay attention to us.
We've been fighting each other all game. 21 minutes of awesome noodle fights. 14-12. 3,000 gold has been accrued here over the cash pile of BCM. SGD doing quite well for themselves.
Thresh has a double buff. You know what that means. He's going to be dying soon.
Yep.
Transferring that double buff around.
That's right. I'm sure Lucian wants him to die. It's always a weird lane when you can look at your wife inside of a lantern, the entire lane.
Oh!
There's the sun.
They're going for it.
Oh, they try to say. rise and shine, but not going to happen. Wow, that was a nice bit of burst there.
And they're going to keep trying to go. They have a Wukong coming in from behind. Harrimer is fearless. The reason that the double buff thing has been happening, it's not a knock on these teams by any means. It's the fact that both of these teams have immaculate, like they have the ability to select a target and kill it. And double buffs are so valuable for a champion that they are passing them around. You know, if Arxie wants to go from someone, he's going to get him. If Evertan wants to go from someone, he's going to get that target as well. So when you see double buffs on a support, you want to kill him.
Especially one of the ones that's easier to kill. Right now, the focus is just to kind of hang out. SGG feels like they're in a good spot in the game. They're going to get all the lanes pushed before they really even try to go for something that could put them in a sticky situation. Right now, Kevin back to this bottom lane. He's had a lot of focus down there.
He's been there a lot.
Yeah.
To almost no effect.
Yeah, no effect at all.
Yeah. Every time he's down there, Blue Caster Minions gets really aggressive with Thresh and Lucian, and Best in SJ and Feng Shen. They know what's up. They know there's a monkey in the bush.
That looks painful. Ooh. But that's what it's... Oh, nope, not going to happen.
Yeah, the jump after the jump.
You can only be a ninja so much.
Nocturne casting, killing who they please.
Jakiro now getting chased away from Kenny doing quite a good job in that top lane. Able to hold off the split push that Jakiro's been putting down. SJ looking to drop this turret finally in the bottom lane. The only time that Kevin isn't here is when they're up at the turret, and he looked like he wanted it for a second, but they're going to give it up because they have to focus mid.
Yeah, looks like Sergio's Dream's going to look to run away with this one pretty shortly, which is why Blue Casterman is trying to force this fight. Here comes Wukong. Can he get in range?
Got the W passive. There's the speed for Alliance from the culling. Very nice job to place that and get the escalation on the kill. They could be getting another one here. Kenny going deep from the side. Comes
behind him, from the side.
He's always taking on 4 people by himself. They get a good grab on Arxie Slash. The Zanyas goes down, but they are looking at him like he is dinner. He gets out of there with a Rift Walk. SJ's taking some damage in the back. They have turned this one around, and they've gotten themselves a kill. Is that still the double buffs? I don't know. Arxie Slash not going down. A sliver of health there.
Just an inch away. Look at everyone flashing red on Sergio's Dream there. They overextend a little bit. They try to flank attack, but they were too low and not coordinated enough when they went in, meaning Blue Caster means get the push down the mid lane and an edge.
Kills are kills, but if you're losing the structures, you definitely did not win the end war there.
Yeah, so let's try and take a look at what happened a little bit closer right here. You can see everyone on Sergio's Dream is still pretty low, and because Loctrant did that little juke for the culling, it meant Wukong got in range. Jakiro came around to help, and then it's that I think I can mentality that you talk about so much. Feng Shen thought he could go in, Arxie Slash thought he could support, and Vayne thought he could come in from the back, but there was too much just there. He ends up wasting a bunch of shots on the Wukong clone. He has to peel back a little bit. Luckily, Hammer didn't have double buffs as he died to Vayne. And overall, just the overall health. Look at that tiny little blue smidgen on the bottom of the screen. They were so close to getting ace. They're lucky to get out with their lives.
It's really all these teams are giving each other a chance to have getting out of these fights. And I guess it means you're doing worth when you go in if you're getting out that low. Good tumble into the wall. Nobody saw that. SJ farming out the bottom lane. He's going to go ahead and get himself some minions. 185 to 184. So the AD carries, both very respectable in their scores and CS this game. Really fighting it out.
Yeah. And there's the gank on Evertan.
Oh my god, like you said, they can do this whenever they want. He goes for the death mark back on Arxie Slash. He comes out just perfectly on the Zanyas.
Yeah, completely dodging the death mark damage with that Zanyas. Evertan tried his best.
Yeah.
But
if you're going to go down, do as much damage as you can.
Can't do it to Kassadin. At that point, they actually had to barely escape that bottom lane. So well, Dragon's up in 2 seconds. They have complete control. That's going to be good for their gold lead.
Going for that hashtag no fog strategy. If you look at the side of BCM, it is lit up with blue wards right now. The Dragon is Sergio's Dream. That's going to be easy for them. The Seraph's Embrace. Zanya's finished over on that side of Arxie Slash. He is charged up,
look out,
ready
Wukong.
to go.
That's just a wipe. It's not with your life.
Oh, no, it's the cloud. No, not back to the crowd control. No, the other way. The Cyclone Lantern. That's a new one.
It's a slippery little move. Uh-oh, Best in SJ's Jeep chasing.
Oh, man.
But they burned a lot to get out of that one.
That was close.
Still an impressive escape. One thing that's happening with the build paths now, since Kevin is never going to make it to that Black Cleaver, looks like they're going to try and build that on Evertan. He's got his Brutalizer and his Health Crystal.
Yeah.
Zed would like to be able to go Brutalizer straight to Last Whisper to have selfish armor penetration and rely on Wukong for the shred, but that's just not a possibility because Kevin's been shut down so much. So he's the one taking him up for the team, going to try and shred for Lucian.
It's all right. You try to build it up. Everybody's got to help each other out. 27 minutes into the game, ArcZ/ happily picking up his blue buff as they just make sure they clear everything out of the jungle that's theirs. Because they're going to go ahead and take whatever is in BCM's jungle. It's been that pretty much all game coming in. Blocktran's been trying to invade the jungle, give Kevin a hard time. Really, he hasn't found much from it. He's been feeling the pressure. Not many turrets have fallen in this game. 27 minutes in. It's only 3-2.
Yeah, it's crazy to think. The kill to turret ratio is heavy on the kill-heavy portfolio right now. I like the build on the best in SJ as well. That's the items Vayne generally quests for. A lot of attack speed. He's the type of Vayne that would max W first in lane. I believe he would have done. He did that yesterday as well. I didn't check this game to make sure, but it means his attack speed is much more valuable for him because he wanted the Silver Bolt procs early. I think the fact that ArcZ/ has Void Staff and Sorcerer Shoes completed is very dangerous, specifically for Lucian at this point in the game. Right now, Bluecaster Minions is waiting for the next Sergio's Dream overextension.
Yeah.
They're hoping the guys from San Jose get a bit too aggressive here.
It could come soon. They have a good push on mid. They have a good push on top where we've seen Jakiro and iKennyU. No strangers to the top lane farming this game. We'll see if that mistake can be made. Sergio, you can see ArcZ/ and SJ sticking together. The two hyper carries kind of getting into that role now as we get 30 minutes into this game. It's going to be scary for BCM here, but they still could have a great initiation to turn a fight around.
Yeah, the initiation would have to come from Kevin. He'd have to land a very perfect Wukong ultimate, but the problem with that is that they have no Kassadin control. ArcZ/ could.
That's true.
Theoretically going for one. Now they're trying to two-man Baron with Blocktran and Best in SJ. Vayne kills that real quick. Oh, he didn't even hit the Baron.
No.
Yep.
It's not there. They've taken it.
Yeah. There's the team.
Oh, and they dodge out. He splits the uprights with a solar flare. The Wukong ult's in the back, hitting no one. He flashes onto ArcZ/, but that means that ult is down, and Z/ can start to roam around easily here. They're all trying to focus down the fight, but he complete Rift Walk, AoEing the entire team with damage. BCM's health bars are shredding here, and Jakiro's going to start taking over with a double kill, a triple kill coming in. ArcZ/ gets in Q range with the Rift Walk, gets himself one, and it's going to be a clean ace coming in for SGD.
What a chaotic fight right there. Alliance got trapped in between a Renekton and a Kassadin. Check it out. Even though the Leona won't miss, at this point, Renekton coming around from the top, Alliance was trapped up here, and Kassadin actually escaped to a kill. It was rather convenient for him. At the end of the day, it became too clumped at this point. That's why we can zoom in on the fight, because it's in such a small area. Renekton's ultimate dominance was just crushing people with his Qs. That just meant Kassadin could Rift Walk in place. Much damage, little escape from Bluecaster Minions, and the chase on a blue buff Kassadin is just too much to handle.
Such a good fight. The triple-double. 3 for Renekton, 2 for Kassadin.
Full house.
They come out. The full house on the run. Good hand there played by SGD. They're going to come out way ahead in the gold right now. They got 2 turrets out of that one, so they're finally moving on to the, we get something, we're going to take a little bit more. And that was an inhibitor turret, so the base is open.
Yeah, we'll see if that's the one that ends up swinging the game.
Yeah.
Right here. Black Cleaver did get completed onto Evertan, but they haven't shown effectiveness in fighting in clumps right now, and in order to actually work Wukong with Zed, they have to kind of clump up themselves by default.
Yeah.
ArcZ/ has a bit too much damage on Kassadin. Jakiro is really big on Renekton right now. Obviously, this is the point in the game where Renekton's going to start to fall off, but just with how much he's been farming, he's still really strong at this point in the game. With the next dragon coming up, it's nearly uncontestable for Bluecaster Minions. But this game has shown a few surprises already.
Yeah, it has, and it looks like BCM's trying to put another surprise on the table. 50 seconds for the dragon, and they want positioning on that. This is pretty crazy, considering Baron would give them a huge upper hand in the game. So
ArcZ/ does have teleport on Kassadin. It could bait Bluecaster Minions into starting the Baron, but at the very least, it is a nearly unstoppable split push, which is why Bluecaster Minions getting out of there.
There's a boatload of minions heading into the top side of the base. Bluecaster Minions are asking, why Bluecaster Minions? Why? You're going to see this turret going down here on the top side, the bottom side of the top lane, and that's going to be more gold coming in. Another turret and the map being opened up that much more.
Ooh, Bluecaster Minions from the University of Washington not doing too good right now. They lose that, they fight.
Have to fight. It's going to be a great cyclone, but ArcC's just going to be able to shred health bars with the Rift Walk. That's going to be SJ coming in with a kill. Luctran dives into the fight to get himself one on Nocturne. A double kill from the Kite and fight of Alliance. Woo! One more, the triple kill of the Kite and fight. He's going for 3-4. Oh! No, the Rift Walk shuts down the possible pentakill, and it's going to be the Nexus for Game 1 here in the North American Collegiate Championship.
Yeah, what a finish right there. Another crazy fight. 12-1 on ArcC Slash. They're exchanging high fives. Game 1 goes to SGD.
47 kills, and I believe 32 minutes?
Yes, sir.
Wow. That is a bloody game on the Rift. They definitely left some blood, sweat, and tears there, but there is another one to go.
Yeah.
And the stage, it's not an easy place to do it on. Definitely wear and tear, physically and mentally.
Feels good after that first game. That
to win?
Was,
oh, yeah.
That was a fast pace. Going to be tough to keep up with that one. They're going to have to switch to the other side of the map. They will not have the luxury of getting Kassadin in the next game. Definitely, right from the start, the gank kill that gave Kassadin first blood. Remember, the teleport Kassadin lane that did not have Ignite, 4-6,
yep.
Getting a kill.
Yeah.
Bad.
Pretty crazy.
If you're the other team. He really took that advantage. Transitioned it through to some very good things. Best in SJ's vein, very potent.
Yep.
Obviously, the top lane Jakiro Renekton was really strong in those team fights, clumping up, landed so many of those Renekton, like empowered Renekton Qs that were just chunking down many people at a time.
SGD definitely looked like they came into the game more prepared for it with exactly what they were going to do. You know, simple things like we're going to at least try a gank in mid lane and not just walk away from it. They tried it, they kept going, and Kevin kept losing a lot of time in the bottom lane, so we'll see if they switch things up and quickly transition on things that aren't working for BCM.
There's a fine art of counter-ganking.
Yeah.
And Kenny missed it that game. He was trying to counter-gank bottom again and again. He was never there at the right time. Counter-ganking a Nocturne in particular, who you can't necessarily ward out.
You can't gauge where he's going to be.
Game. Yeah.
All right, everyone, we've got to take a quick break, but when we return, the Blue Caster Minions and Sergio's Dream return to the Rift for Game 2. The 2014 North American Collegiate Championship. We'll be right back after this.